As Week 13 of the NFL season concludes, the distinction between Super Bowl contenders and pretenders is becoming increasingly clear. Teams like the Eagles have shaken off slow starts to find their stride, while powerhouses like the Lions and Bills have maintained dominance since Week 1.
Fakes left, now taken off, gonna run for it, he got it, and there he goes, inside the 10, the 5, oh, the play of the year in the NFL.
Unbelievable, 26-yard touchdown run! Are you kidding me?
While the playoffs will showcase a range of teams competing for the Lombardi Trophy, the reality is that only a select few have the talent, consistency, and resilience needed to win the Super Bowl in New Orleans. And after days of research, I finally uncovered who the top 5 teams are in the NFL, and the number 3 team on this list may shock you. Now, not shocking at all, the Detroit Lions entered the 2024 NFL season with the 4th best odds to win the Super Bowl, according to the Vegas odds makers. After a strong 12-5 campaign in 2023 that did end with a tough loss to the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship, Dan Campbell and his team returned with renewed determination to make franchise history, reaching their first ever Super Bowl. And I mean, last year the Lions made significant strides in building their backfield, drafting Jahmyr Gibbs with the 12th overall pick in 2023, a decision that surprised many at the time. Since then, though, Gibbs and veteran running back David Montgomery have formed the NFL's premier running back duo, earning the nickname Sonic and Knuckles. Together, they've racked up over 2,000 yards rushing and receiving combined, while scoring 11 touchdowns each. And I mean, straight up honestly, the just cornerstone for this Lions team has been their rushing success that they've had all season long. Like, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, they are averaging 154 rushing yards per game. Oh, and don't worry too, because they don't stop their dominance there either. The Lions offense has been the top ranked unit in football all season long, leading the NFL in points per game and ranking 2nd in total yards per game. With a lethal combination of efficiency on the ground and explosiveness through the air, Detroit's offense possesses a relentless challenge for any opponent trying to keep pace for all 4 quarters. And not only that too, but their passing attack is every bit as potent as their ground game, ranking among the NFL's elite in multiple categories. Quarterback Jared Goff has been exceptional all season, leading the league in completion percentage with 72% and yards per pass attempt with 8.7, while also ranking in the top 5 in passing yards per game. Goff's resurgence has been a key factor in Detroit's dominance, which is reminiscent of the form that took him to the Super Bowl with the Rams in 2019. And I mean, honestly, much of Goff's just success that he has had this season has been because of the Sun God and just because of the connection he has with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra has been one of the most dangerous wide receiver ones in the league, consistently exploiting defenses forced to stack the box to contain the Sonic and Knuckles backfield duo. With 9 touchdown receptions this season, which is tied for 2nd in the NFL, St. Brown has proven himself to be an elite playmaker, complementing his production with another 1,000-yard campaign. Like, I mean, honestly, just having his presence in this Lions offense just makes it so much harder to try and key in on where to stop the Lions, whether it's in the run game with Sonic and Knuckles in the backfield or with the Sun God out wide just completely torching your cornerback one. But here's the secret though that nobody really is talking about, is that the main driver to this team, and yes, you can say it's the rushing game, but I don't think many people are recognizing how good this defense has been this year and how they turned it around from last year. And this is all without Aiden Hutchinson, who broke his leg a couple weeks ago. Like, they're ranked 3rd in the NFL in points allowed per game with 16.9, and the Lions present a formidable challenge for opponents on both sides of the ball. Like, I mean, as I said, they lost Aiden Hutchinson, who was like the main guy that teams had to look for. I mean, when you're just having an elite edge rusher like Hutch, teams have to key in on that guy, figure out game plans. But even after they've lost Hutch, this defense has still remained pretty dominant over the past couple of weeks. Their ability to stifle opposing offenses while their offense thrives has cemented the Lions as true Super Bowl favorites. With both units leading the league in multiple categories, the Lions truly are a complete team, and any opponent aiming to dethrone them will need to bring their A game on both offense and defense. And while the Detroit Lions have dominated headlines in the NFC pretty much from week 1, another contender has quietly emerged, and one that we all may have written off earlier in the year. The Philadelphia Eagles, overshadowed by the early season surge of the Commanders and Lions Super Bowl buzz, are making their presence known as the season has progressed. Led by the dynamic duo of Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, the Eagles have surged to a 10-2 record with recent wins over strong teams like the Ravens, Commanders, and Bengals. Much like the Lions, the Eagles boast a well-rounded well-rounded team, making them the biggest threat to the Lions' Super Bowl aspirations from the NFC. Right now, Saquon Barkley is on track to break 2,000 yards for the first time since Derrick Henry accomplished that feat in 2020. Needing 501 yards over the next 5 games, Barkley has proven to be worth every dollar the Eagles invested in him during free agency. Without a doubt, Saquon Barkley has been the complete driver of offensive success for the Eagles this season. When you add a guy like Saquon Barkley to an offense that already had receivers like Devonta Smith and AJ Brown, of course they are going to succeed. And honestly, you give so much crap to Nick Sirianni for just being a bad coach. I don't think any coach could just coach this team poorly when you have those 3 weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Hell, I probably could coach them to a win. You just call Saquon Barkley to run the ball. You pretty much would do this. If we're going to go down into detail, you go hand to Saquon, 50-50 ball to AJ Brown. They pretty much did it last week all against the Ravens. And it worked. They won. Okay, let's get back to the video. The Eagles lead the NFL in several rushing categories, including rushing yards per game, rushing touchdowns per game, and rush play percentage. With this powerful rushing unit leading the offense, the Eagles present a significant challenge to any team, including the Lions. They are inevitably going to meet in the playoffs at some time. And I think what we all forget about too is that just 2 years ago, the Eagles were leading the Chiefs by 10 points at halftime in 2023 in the Super Bowl, only to watch Patrick Mahomes rally in the 4th quarter, leading the Chiefs to victory while breaking Philadelphia's hearts. Fast forward to this season though, and the Eagles have bolstered their defense and added the league's top running back in Saquon Barkley. And that's another thing that I think a lot of people are just we're starting to recognize how good this defense is, but their defense is very revamped and very good when they have guys that are playing well like Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and even Zach Bond. That dude is an absolute beast at the linebacker spot. And honestly, for me, if I had to rank them, I would probably put the Eagles just based off how they have been playing. I'd put the Eagles above the Lions because they do have a more complete and well-rounded team in my opinion. Honestly, the NFC Championship could very well be the true Super Bowl as the Eagles have closed the gap on the Lions' star-studded roster since the start of the season, positioning themselves as one of the best teams in the NFL, if not the best. And now the number 3 team that I do have on this list is the Bills, who are currently holding the number 2 seed in the AFC, who handed the Chiefs their first loss of the season on November 17th and are now hoping for another Kansas City slip-up to claim the number 1 seed. Josh Allen and the Bills have made a strong statement by defeating both 2024 Super Bowl participants in consecutive weeks, beating the Chiefs by 9 points and the 49ers by 25. Over the past 6 weeks, their offense has been nothing short of electric, scoring 30+ points in each game during an undefeated 6-0 stretch. Allen has firmly positioned himself as the frontrunner in the NFL MVP race, surpassing Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes thanks to his team's dominant performance. Honestly, the Bills offense is just firing on all cylinders, now ranked 2nd in the league in points per game, averaging just under 30, including 30.4 during their impressive 7-game win streak. James Cook has also emerged as a key contributor, currently tied for 3rd in touchdowns in the NFL while surpassing 700 rushing yards this season. The addition of a reliable rushing attack has also helped Josh Allen play more effectively, throwing only 5 interceptions through 12 games, the lowest mark of his career. And honestly, coming into this season, the Bills had a similar narrative to what the Chiefs had last year coming into the season, with basically no number 1 wide receiver that was going to carry them or have at least Josh Allen's back, and that their defense had lost key pieces over the past couple of seasons. But as it turns out, they don't need any of that, and they are just completely balling right now. Truly, this team does not give a damn about your opinion. If they think that they need Stephon Diggs or a number 1 key wide receiver, they're going to just completely destroy you. Hell, Josh Allen is catching his own damn passes at this point. And now, yes, despite battling injuries throughout the season, the Bills remain a force to be reckoned with. And if they can maintain the current form that they are in and get back to full strength, they are poised to be the favorites to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. And this is where I think the list is actually going to start to piss some of you guys off, because while the Chiefs and the Bills are kind of drawing a lot of eyes, and even the Ravens are drawing a lot of eyes, I think the team that we're about to go over right now is kind of flying under the radar still, despite being really good. Are you looking for a new book this football season? BetUS is the answer. They have the fastest and easiest payouts in the industry, along with 24/7 personalized service 365 days a year. Not only that, but they have live wagering on all major games, so if you see something mid-game and want to make a wager on it, you can. And the best part is you get 10 10% back on your net losses twice a year. And now look, you guys knew I had to come through with you guys for a promo code, so make sure that you guys are using code YouTube150 for a nice 150% deposit bonus on up to $2,000. That's right, we were doing 125%, but we said screw that, we're giving you guys 150% instead. Again, that is promo code YouTube150 for a 150% deposit bonus on up to $2,000. Again, thank you to BetUS for sponsoring today's video, but for now, let's hop back into it. The Steelers, led by a dominant defense, stand out as one of the most stubborn and gritty units in the NFL, who are anchored by TJ Watt and Cam Hayward. Their defense absolutely wreaks havoc on opposing quarterbacks from the first snap of a game. Watt's ability to demand double teams creates opportunities for teammates like their linebackers Patrick Queen and Nick Herbig to disrupt offensive game plans all game long. And while Mike Tomlin did face criticism for his midseason decision to switch quarterbacks, replacing Justin Fields with Russell Wilson, as we all know, Justin Fields had led the Steelers to a solid 4-2 start, performing well and keeping the team in strong contention. Despite this though, Tomlin still made the decision to go and transition to Russell Wilson, and honestly, ever since he's done that, it has paid off, and he has looked phenomenal this season. Wilson has gone 5-1 as a starter, including a standout performance against the Bengals, where he threw for 414 yards and 3 touchdowns. Hell, who knew Russell Wilson's comeback would be so fruitful in Pittsburgh, now considered a genuine Super Bowl contender? The former Seahawks Super Bowl champion was counted out, washed up, and out of time. But in the black and gold, Russ is back to his very best and is completely Mr. Unlimited. The Steelers currently sit atop the AFC North, but are heading into their toughest stretch of the season. In weeks 15, 16, and 17, they'll face the Eagles and Ravens on the road before hosting the Chiefs. And don't get me wrong, because this slate is definitely going to be a true test for Russell Wilson and the offense, as their defense has consistently delivered week after week outside of in-divisional games. This stretch that they do have through weeks 15, 16, and 17 will definitely tell us a lot about this offense. And now, staying in the AFC North for our 5th and final spot, and honestly the least scariest team of these 5 in my personal opinion, the Baltimore Ravens, who currently sit at 8-5, have been one of the most inconsistent teams in the NFL this season. Despite their impressive victories over strong teams like the Bills, who they actually beat by 25 points, the Commanders and Chargers, they've also suffered unexpected losses to terrible teams like the Raiders, and they're not terrible, but they're pretty bad. The Browns too, who are both at the bottom of the league. Lamar Jackson alongside Derrick Henry forms one of the top running back quarterback tandems in the league, rivaling Saquon, Barkley, and Jalen Hurts for the top spot. However, it's the wide receiver spot that really hasn't lived up to the same standard. While Zay Flowers has made the most of his 94 targets, more than half of the top 5 of their pass catchers are running backs and tight ends, reflecting a lack of elite depth in the receiving game. And look, they've tried to fix it and nothing has really worked for them. Rashad Bateman has never quite found any momentum, and the midseason addition of Deontay Johnson fell flat on its face, with the former Steeler and Panthers wideout unable to even get on the field at this point in the year. And now, yes, I know that despite all these inconsistencies and just things that they do have, the Ravens still do pose as a threat in the AFC, as they're going to be a wild card team is what it's looking like. If the Steelers do win this division, they're going to be a scary wild card team to play. Just like Mahomes, when you have Lamar Jackson in the backfield alongside Derrick Henry, you really can't count out the Ravens at any point in any game. As I said, if the Steelers can secure the AFC North crown, the Ravens will undoubtedly be one of the most dangerous wildcard opponents in the postseason. With the right adjustments and consistent performances with Jackson in their defense, Baltimore has all the tools needed to make a deep and impactful playoff run. And of course, how can we not mention the Kansas City Chiefs? And now, yes, personally for me, I am giving them an honorable mention spot right now because personally for me, they really don't look that scary on paper, but it's Patrick Mahomes. You really can't count the guy out. And trust me, when he opens up as an underdog in the first round of the playoffs, I can't wait to bet on him and him win me like $1,000 or something. It's going to be awesome. But that's the thing though, while the Chiefs have held pretty much the best record in the NFL all season long, there is a growing sense that their dominance may be slipping from their fingers. Over the course of the season, Kansas City has managed to escape several games that just pretty much seem destined for defeat, leaving fans and analysts alike questioning how sustainable their success really is. Whether it's by narrowly winning against weaker teams or pulling off improbable comebacks, the Chiefs have often been fortunate in securing victories, which has raised doubts about their consistency. And as they are aiming for that three-peat and that 3rd title now, it really just seems that the Chiefs aren't as invincible as they have been in the past. But that is the thing though, again, once you do have Patrick Mahomes on your team, they honestly cannot be counted out at any point in a season or in a game. The reigning Super Bowl MVP continues to work his magic, showcasing why he is widely considered the best quarterback in the league. With his ability to elevate the play of those around him and his knack for delivering in clutch moments, moments, Mahomes keeps the Chiefs in every game, regardless of their struggles in other areas. I mean, look, to be frank, I think until Patrick Mahomes retires or goes elsewhere, Kansas City will always have a chance to make another deep playoff run, making them a dangerous team to face in the postseason. All in all, though, these 5 teams mentioned have the ingredients to make a Super Bowl, but how they play in the final weeks of the regular season will be critical in determining their ultimate fate and their path to get there. While much of the attention has been on the Lions and the Chiefs as Super Bowl favorites, both will face significant challenges from superior teams in the Bills and Eagles. Josh Allen, the current MVP frontrunner, has led an unstoppable Bills offense that has thrived recently, scoring 30+ points per game. If Allen continues to protect the football and maintain this level of production, Buffalo will be nearly impossible to outscore in the postseason. Meanwhile, in the NFC, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles pose an equally dangerous threat. I mean, their balanced attack and their emergence of young defensive stars like Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, and Jalen Carter solidify them as a team that nobody wants to face in the postseason. And if you want to see exactly what NFL players think about Derrick Henry and how scared they are of him, then click this video right here.